so honored to be here tonight. I have so much love for everything that Chazak does, especially Victoria. She's the best ambassador for everything. And I was just telling somebody as I was walking in, I was saying, I promise you tonight, Rabbanit Yemima Mizrahi is the entree and the dessert. I'm one French fry of an appetizer that leads to it. I'm going to tell you a little personal story about why the mikveh, the importance of the mitzvah of mikveh is so dear to me. Many years ago, I was struggling very many years to have a family, and Hashem had other plans. After my 5th and worst miscarriage, I was told by top infertility specialists 2 words: give up. They told me that I would never have a child of my own, and they left me with 2 options: a surrogate or adoption. Neither of those options worked for me. I knew that I was going to have a family. I knew that whatever comes my way, I will prevail, and I will have a child, if not more than one. After so many nisyonot, so many challenges, and so much hadracha from Rebbeim, I was instructed by some top tzaddikim to stop wearing pants. I told them, I said, it's not about pants. It's far beyond that. This is a matter of science. This is a medical situation now. But they persisted. They said, you want a family, you have to bridge the gap between your holy neshama and your not so holy body. So what does it matter? Give up pants. The worst case scenario is you get pregnant. And I thought to myself, that's pretty good odds. I said, okay, you're on. I threw away my pants. Lo and behold, that month I conceived my Jacob, who's now the king of my castle. However, and there is a huge however in big caps lock, during my 20-week sonogram, and you guys know what I'm talking about if you've had a 20-week sonogram, the scares that come along with that, the doctor who was doing the sonogram kept scanning and scanning and scanning. And the doctor was focusing specifically on one area and scanning. And I kept looking at my husband, and we kept shrugging our shoulders, and the doctor continued to scan. And the doctor put the machine down and said, just one moment. And my heart was racing, because with all the 5 miscarriages I had had up until then, I had never reached this point. So this was the farthest I had come to. And I kept saying, I said, no, please, I beg you, tell me what you see. Please tell me what you see. And the technician wouldn't answer. And she kept saying, the doctor will be in a minute. I said, no, I know what that means. Tell me what you see. This is everything I have. And the technician wouldn't speak. Finally, a team of 4 or 5 doctors walked in. They continued to scan. And they look at me and they say, Mrs. Aminoff, we'd like you to go to genetic counseling. We'd like you to go for some further testing. We'd like you to go to some specialists. You may need to terminate the pregnancy. My whole world collapsed. I said, Hashem, I haven't come this far to only come this far. And I kept saying, no, Hashem, I stopped wearing pants. We do so much chesed, we get tzedakah. This has to be a mistake. And every doctor continued to scan. But you should know, my husband is Q100. He's the Great Neck Coordinator for Hatzalah. He's this huge 6'2", like football player build. And the moment they told us what they thought it is, I promise you, my husband fainted. And they had to throw me off the bed, and they had to put Jonathan on the bed. They had to give him oxygen. Till this day, I tease him about that. I'm like, tough guy, huh? Now, when the doctors came into the room, they started having me sign things. Everything was a blur. I don't really know what happened, but I was signing things and agreeing that if I choose to keep the pregnancy, I won't sue. I was just so overwhelmed. And I kept saying, no, this is not going to be. We left the hospital completely broken and devastated. By the way, this is the very first time in my whole life that I'm speaking about this story publicly. We left, and I couldn't even speak. My husband couldn't speak. We were both crying. It was a horrible, dark day. I got to my mother's house. My siblings were all there waiting to console me and greet me, and we had to brainstorm. We needed Rebbeim, we needed Hashem, we needed Tefillah, we needed a lot of things. We started calling Rebbeim, and it was very interesting because the two tzaddikim that I called both said the same thing. I called the Biala Rebbe from Bnei Brak, and I called Rav Moshe Weinberger from Eish Kodesh. Both of them said the same thing. My Hebrew name is Michal. So they said to me, Michal, Ein ma lid'og. There's nothing to worry about. Bake challah and go to the mikveh. I said, I'm pregnant already. What do you mean go to the mikveh? They said, what do you mean? The mikveh has the most healing powers of any body of water. Go to the mikveh, and the waters of the mikveh are so holy that it is the only place in the world that the Satan cannot hear. Therefore, he cannot ruin what you're davening for. Go to the mikveh, empty out your soul under those waters. And I was devastated, so I said, I will do anything at this point to hold on to this pregnancy. I just want a healthy baby. So that week, now the doctors had scheduled me for many more appointments with specialists and more specialists and different doctors and different hospitals. By the way, people think the story about Gali is the first chapter in my life. Gali's chapter 26. There was so much that came before that. So that week was a very exhausting and draining week. I made my challah that Erev Shabbat. I went to the mikveh Motzei Shabbat. Devastated. I sobbed so hard underwater that the mikveh lady was sobbing alongside me. I emerged from the mikveh completely broken but hopeful because I said, I'm doing my hishtadlut. I'm doing what I was told to do. At this point, Hashem, you have to see what this means to me. My next appointment was Monday morning. I didn't sleep for 48 hours. Monday morning, my husband and I woke up. I was a wreck. I was shaking. I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. We go to the specialist, not in North Shore Hospital. They sent me somewhere else with special machines that can look even deeper into the arteries and veins and cells of the baby. I'm lying on the bed, and the technician is doing a scan. And he's scanning, and he's scanning, and he's scanning, and he's looking, and he says, one moment. And my heart is like in my belly. I can't even process what's going on. All of a sudden, this huge, tall doctor walks in, takes out my chart, puts it in front of him, doesn't crack a smile, doesn't say hello, doesn't introduce himself, nothing. Wearing a long white lab coat. Puts my form in front of him. He's looking at my chart. Why are you here? I said, well, I was at North Shore Hospital last week at my 20-week sonogram, and they saw this and this and this in the baby, and they said that, I might have to terminate the pregnancy. And so he looks at my chart, and he looks at the screen. Screen, hold on. Takes out the scanner, whatever it's called, and he's scanning my belly, and he's scanning, looking at the screen, looking at my chart. And it's going on and on, and I keep looking at my husband, and my husband shows with his fingers like, sablanut, daven, wait. And this doctor is scanning, and he looks at the chart, he says, no. No what? What do you mean no? No, this can't be. This is not your chart. I said, doctor, I promise you this is my chart. Charlene Aminoff, date of birth 10/8/81. This is me. He said, there's nothing wrong with the fetus. Everything's perfect. Everything's normal. Why are you here? Why are you wasting my time? Go. You're fine. And I looked at my husband and I said, doctor, before I get hopeful, do I need to follow up with you? Do I need to follow up with anybody? Are you going to be relaying this data to my doctor? He said, ma'am, you are here for no reason. The baby's fine. The heart is fine. The brain is fine. The kidneys are fine. Goodbye. And he threw me out of his office, annoyed that I was wasting his time. And I walked out of that room, and I looked at my husband and I said, Hodol Hashem kito ki le'olam chasto. So when Victoria approached me to say a few words about the holy powers of the waters of the mikveh. I said I owe it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to pass on the message. Ladies, the water of the mikveh is so powerful. It contains these magical powers that can bring refuot, brachot, parnasa, shmira, but more than anything, shalom bayit. A woman who keeps the mitzvah of taharat hamishpacha and she goes to the mikveh, every single month, it is as if she's a bride, a brand new kala for her husband. That love that tends to become part of the mundane and simple day-to-day life that begins to so often fizzle towards the end of a woman's cycle, suddenly, it's like the mental countdown starts to tick. Oh my gosh, the mikveh, 6 days away, 3 days away, 2 days away. And this burst of renewal and passion and excitement and anticipation falls back into that couple's life. Every single woman who goes to the mikveh has increased so much the level of ahava v'achva and shalom v're'ut in her marriage. She has endeared herself so much in her husband's eyes. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, I dive in that every single one of you here, if you are not yet keeping the beautiful and holy mitzvah of going to the mikveh, I hope that as a result of tonight, you take this one thing upon yourself, because I promise you, you will only gain. It will only endear you in your husband's eyes. It will only increase the love, the intimacy. It will cement the bond that was brought down under the chuppah for you and your husband. And a woman is referred to as Shoshanat HaAmekim, the rose of the valley. Chachamim tell us that the rose of the valley is considered the most beautiful type of flower in the world. Why is a rose of the valley more beautiful than any other type of rose? Because when it's in a valley, it's being shielded by the withering effects of the sun and the wind. And that helps the rose remain fresh, moist, and beautiful for the rest of its life. So too, when a woman goes to the mikveh, she becomes a Shoshanat HaAmekim to her husband. She becomes this beautiful, moist, fresh, glowing rose, which is known to be the most beautiful rose in the world. Wish you all Hatzlacha and Bracha, Shalom Bayit, Refuot, Yeshuot, and Bezrat Hashem. As a result of tonight, every Kabbalah you take upon yourself, Hashem should guide you, that everything should be Latova. You should never have any Nisyonot ever again. Thank you so much.